Still loading. And we're live.
There we go, everybody. What's going on? It's only Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
What's going on, man? It's only Tuesday. I like it. It's Tuesday here, live on the Patrick Carr Show as we go live over on Instagram. We just appreciate everybody joining so much. Thank you all for your support of the show. It means the absolute world to us, myself and Anthony. Anthony, we've got a big night tonight ahead of us, don't we?
Yeah. We're the debate for mayor, for Orange County mayor, right?
Yeah, we got the Orange County mayor debate tonight. And for people who don't know, we would highly recommend, if you're considering tuning into the mayoral debate, which probably for most of you that sounds like about as much fun as paint drying, we would suggest that if you're laying in bed tonight around 8 o'clock, you're getting ready for dinner, why don't you just turn on the Patrick Carr Show, and we're going to make the mayoral debate interesting. We're going to give our play-by-play tonight in real time of what the candidates are actually saying. How much of it is actual bullshit and how much of it is actually real. So if you're interested in politics, but you don't want to sit through the actual crap that politicians are going to say, and you want to actually hear what is really going on, we will give a live play-by-play tonight here, myself and Anthony from right here, about what is going on in the Orange County mayoral debate. Heck, man, even if you're not living in Orange County, it's going to be a lot of fun to hear the BS that comes out of everybody's mouth in this debate. And listen, I like some of the folks that are in it. We've had them on this show, but I can't stand to watch, Anthony, these debates that happen for, whether it be the president, the governor, whatever, vice president, all of them end up turning into talking points. So our goal tonight is to give you the play-by-play of what really the candidate is saying and how much of it is actually BS and how much of it is actually doable or trustworthy. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. I wish we were having drinks. I don't allow them in the office, so it'll just be more energy drinks for me and Anthony tonight. That's going down 8 o'clock here on the Patrick Carr Show. And I know that, let's see, who is it? WG, I can't. Gosh, it's Martha Sigalski. She's going to be covering it, but we'll be streaming that thing and we'll be giving our own play-by-play to exactly what is going on, man. Looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun, Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
So, and we'll have content, we'll have reaction, everything that comes from Orange County. So hope you'll stop by, be entertained, and join Anthony and I tonight for the Orange County mayoral debate. I never thought in a million years I'd be watching the mayoral debate for Orange County. I mean, here I am. I'm surely no politician, but somehow I've gotten involved doing this. So hope you all enjoy that tonight. All right, everybody. We're doing that to try to bring you some entertainment.
We got to make it fun, man. We got to, whenever they're lying or doing something like not answering the question, do like a little shot of, I don't know, Bang energy drink. Like,
oh, man.
Whatever.
I wish we could drink here, but I don't allow alcohol inside of the office, everybody. So we'll be doing none of that. But it would make it a lot more fun to get through. You're right, buddy. And it's going to be so much of that crap where they won't answer a question and you sit there and you go, that was just a bunch of word like salad that doesn't even come close to answering what was asked. I don't understand why politicians can't do that. Why can't someone just ask a question and get a straight answer? Like, are you for something? And then they go into, there's a lot of opinions about that, but I've considered both options and believe there are positives and it's like, just tell me if you're for it or not. And that's why I want to spend today's show talking about something that's been very controversial, man, and I don't think it should be. Everybody keeps on hearing the words, Anthony, flock cameras, right? I mean, I didn't hear about this until probably like 6 months ago, but everybody started talking about them, especially during this governor race where it was basically a fight like it is for data centers. It feels like of who could be more against flock cameras. And none of that seems to make sense to me. And I want to bring this home to Orlando because I believe that flock cameras, I want to make my argument right now, are the key to solving the violence that we have in downtown Orlando. And I'm going to make my case for flock cameras today. And I'm very interested to hear what our audience has to say about these camera systems. Now, I'm going to go through why I believe that they are the solution for violence that we have, why I don't understand why there are politicians that are pushing back on it, what our Constitution says about these cameras and exactly what they are. We're going to be diving everything into flock cameras today, everyone. And believe me, they are affecting your life. All of you dealing with them on a daily basis, probably whether you realize it or not. And you hear this word, and it's like a buzzword that everyone has, Anthony. Flock cameras, we're against them. It's unconstitutional. And it's just like data center. Oh, data centers are bad. Okay. Let's actually dissect what flock cameras are, and let's talk about their benefits and why I believe that they can be a solution that's cost effective to helping Central Florida and helping cities across the state to be safer. So I said before that we've heard the last 6 months of everybody is against flock cameras. Byron Donalds has come out and says a full pause on flock cameras. Okay. James Fishback, agree with a lot of the things he said. It's been a hallmark of his campaign to go ahead and campaign against flock cameras. David Jolly, he believes they should be restrictions that don't impede law enforcement. So there's a 77-year-old guy, all right, that sat there with a car, basically a cutout in front of a flock camera in protest because he said it was invading on people's rights and he wanted to protest against it. So we have other people that are going out of their way to damage these cameras. We saw that down in Cape Coral in South Florida. So we have all of these people who seem to be making videos and talking about how bad they are. I didn't quite understand why. So at first, I want to dive into what exactly are flock cameras and why I believe that, in my opinion, they are the solution. So first of all, Flock is just a brand. It's like Kleenex is for a tissue. There's a lot of different brands of these cameras, but all they are a license plate reader. And like I said, a brand like Kleenex. They're called LPRs. They photograph a license plate, read it with software, and check it against a database. So they look for like stolen cars. If you have your car stolen, you put in a police report, they put in a license plate in there. And then what it does, it goes into a database. And so these license plate readers will go ahead and check against that database and see if your car, when it pops up on one of these cameras. Pretty good idea. Then you can also look for things like warrants. So if somebody gets a warrant issuance plate to identify the vehicle, not the person, they look for identifying features of the vehicle itself, such as color, dents, stickers on the vehicle. This way, police can actually have a description that they can go after. I want everyone to think about how this might work. If you have a description of a vehicle that just says it's a blue Charger, okay, that's different than you're looking for a blue Charger with a yellow sticker on the back that says, I don't know, Make America, whatever. Like, again, people are going to get upset just saying that, but a yellow sticker across the back bumper. Now, when a police officer interacts with that vehicle, they don't just see the plate. They go, okay, I definitely have a hit right here. Boom, I can see it. In addition, if a police officer does see that vehicle, they know right away. They don't have to check it against a plate. It can be that momentary instant that couple of seconds they get that makes all the difference in being able to capture a criminal. So you have these flock cameras that are out there, these license plate readers that are able to go and they're able to identify features of the vehicle, the license plate itself, put it against a database, and then find the bad guys or find the people that need to be found. So, Anthony, I got to admit, like when I read that, I think to myself, why is everybody against these things? And I'll get to that in a second because I always want to explore both sides of it. But I think people would be very surprised, especially in Central Florida, to learn they're already being used right now. OPD's Real-Time Crime Center has a police headquarters. We've seen that crime center here with Chief Smith, pretty high-tech looking things. Looks like something out of like a movie, all right? They do use license plate readers. They use interagency camera systems, live officer tracking, and camera feeds from across the city. So they already have this infrastructure in place right now, and they are using it, everybody. And so I'm thinking to myself, how many of you right now are driving through Orlando or driving through Central Florida? Because it's not just Orlando, they're in use in Tampa and other places. And you feel like your rights are being imposed on, because I'm going to get to what people believe that in general. But what I look at is there are these cameras being used all over the place. All right. They've documented hundreds. In fact, this is from Channel 6, from News 6. Hundreds of these cameras are being used currently right now across Central Florida. Now, I think you all can understand that for good reason. If not going to tell you exactly where these cameras are located. Because if they did and people didn't like them, I'm sure they would go after these cameras and try to damage them. If we have criminals that are out there, they probably want to get rid of the cameras because they're criminals. All right. So I look at this and I think, okay, everybody, we have these cameras in place already in Central Florida. Why exactly would people be against them? And then I want to go into Why am I talking about them as a solution to Orlando? So let's first of all make this case, because everybody believes that is against them, that somehow we're impeding on the rights of individuals, that our Fourth Amendment is being, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's being impeded on. Our Fourth Amendment is being, forgive me, everybody. Sometimes I have a brain fart. So what they're saying is it's a violation. There's the word I'm looking for. Violation of the Fourth Amendment, that you're impeding on somebody's privacy with this. And so I got to say, I think it's a bunch of BS. Folks, this is not out there reading your face. What it is doing is it's going through and you are checking somebody's vehicle. They're checking a license plate and figuring out if this person needs to be picked up and put in prison. And every court agrees with me. Courts across every state have said that flock cameras and license plate readers are perfectly fine, including the 9th and 11th Circuit Court, Federal Court of Appeals. Let me read that. Including the 9th and 11th Circuit Federal Appeals Courts, they agree that warrantless use of fixed LPRs does not violate the Fourth Amendment. Florida sits in the 11th Circuit, so it's binding us to this. I want to repeat that, though, so everyone understands. They're saying that even without a warrant, all right, these cameras do not impede on your Fourth Amendment. And so this constitutional thing that everybody wants to throw out there, the courts have already ruled on this. And I would agree with you if we're talking about face reading technology where you're walking down a street. Now I think we get into something. But what the courts have said here is that when somebody is driving down the street, the tag that's on the back of your car is issued by the state. And so you're not giving that camera any more information about you than if you drove down the street, a police officer had a camera, a phone camera, and got your license plate or wrote your license plate down. Or if a police officer pulls up behind you and they decide that they're going to write down or run your plate, you're not giving them any more information than they would have at their time. So I look at this, everybody, and I go back as well, if you want to keep on going back to United States versus Knotts in 1983. You have no reasonable expectation of privacy in your movements on public roads. Your plate is issued by the government and it's displayed by public law. So you don't have a case if you want to go to the Constitution here. Over and over again, it has been cited that these things are absolutely legal. So I don't want everyone to confuse the two here. I'm not talking about cameras identifying your face and then following you everywhere you go. I'm talking about you driving on a public road or you going into a public place and that camera capturing a picture of your vehicle and running against a database of warrants to figure out if you should be in jail or out of jail. And in my opinion, the courts have been very clear on this. Flock cameras are legal. So I don't understand, Anthony, this constant look from our, especially Republicans, about this. And it seems like it's a talking point right now when it has been decided by the Court of Appeals and it's been cited and every state has upheld this, that there is no Fourth Amendment violation here. So if you want to make the argument with me, which I understand people will do, Patrick, you're naive if you don't think that these cameras are capturing our faces. You're naive if you don't think that they're creating a database. And I think that, you know what? Fair. You could make that argument right there. What I am doing is I'm looking at the technology at face value. Oh, that was good. I'm looking at the technology at face value here, and I'm weighing what you could perceive as a Fourth Amendment violation against what is the positives for a local municipality, which is finding dangerous people and taking them off the streets. So, Anthony, I think I've hopefully laid out where we're at constitutionally with these things, what these things actually do, and I understand the case that people make against these flock cameras. What are your thoughts thus far as I try to break this down for our audience?
No, I mean, you explained it really well. Honestly, I honestly think it's kind of good, in my opinion, for I like flock cameras. I see someone in the comments, Justin Roberts. He's very much against the flock cameras. And
Talk to me, Justin. Why is he against them? Any idea?
Well, submitted a lot of comments. But,
okay. Any idea? Like, I know that we probably, let's just hope we keep him PG, Justin. If you, I can't see him.
He's great. He's
so what
really good.
Can you give me some rundown of a couple of them? Because I want to make sure we're honest to it. Okay.
His last one was I'll put it up on the screen.
Talk to me.
It's way deeper than tag reading. They will be tracking and reading all your devices in your car, create a total database of your movements, devices, etc. Look up the lot or Internet of Things, smart agenda being rammed down our throats, and just a lot of things like that.
Okay. Listen,
he doesn't want to go on. He's like, oh, if you want to have me on a debate.
No, I do not want to debate anybody on this. Okay, folks, I'm not an expert here. I'm giving you my opinion. All right. And Justin makes some very good points here. Okay. I think that if you take at face value what these cameras are doing and what they're telling you or telling us they are doing, I like it. All right. I like the technology. And again, I'm going to show you why in a minute. What I'm doing is I'm weighing the benefits of these cameras against what could be a violation of our Fourth Amendment if we don't believe that these individuals are doing things the right way. So I can see where Justin's coming from, because that to me is where I don't trust the government. I want less government. Every one of us want less government if you're a smart individual. So what Justin's saying is, hey, man, I don't trust what they're saying. They've got the technology sitting right in front of them. It's apparent that they're going to use that technology to do more than what they're telling us they're going to do. And thus, I'm giving up my Fourth Amendment right now, and you're telling me to just shut up and trust them. I get that side, all right? Like, I think that for me, what I want Justin to understand, and so many people that are like him, is yes, okay, I can see that. And I can also agree why you feel that way. I would ask him to stay with me on this as we explore why I look at why the benefits of these outweigh the negatives. And if he can stick with me on that one right there, like so many others that are like him, then maybe we can find out where there's a compromise. All right. This is how I approach things, folks. So hopefully you as a viewer, you can understand where I'm coming from. Now, let's bring this full circle into why I believe the benefits outweigh the perceived negatives, as Justin just brought out acutely right there. Astutely, not acutely, astutely. All right, let's talk about this. We want to talk about recent event right here in downtown Orlando. It was just this Sunday morning. There was a shooting, another one in downtown Orlando. Now, we talked about it a little bit on yesterday's show. 3 men were arrested after there was a fight in a downtown garage. Gun went off. 3 guys were arrested. You have people trying to leave the scene. Multiple firearms were found inside of one of the vehicles. And let me tell you, the most insane thing about it, I will get back to the flock cameras in a second. Folks, you're not going to believe this. I know that everyone thinks 3 people were arrested in this case because that's how all the news decided to run. Think about how crappy of a job our news does in this city of Orlando when nobody reported, Anthony, that one of them was just a catch and release. They literally gave him, we showed it on the show yesterday, a freaking traffic ticket. They gave him a mugshot and just released him. That's it. Like he was a traffic violation when he was involved with a hit and run or trying to flee the scene. Trying to flee the scene of a downtown garage where there was a shooting. And they just said, here's your citation and a ticket. It's public information. We had it on yesterday's show. We showed it. No one wanted to cover that. Do you want to know why these people make stupid mistakes over and over again, Anthony? It's because of the crap like this. Arrest people and put them in prison. If you're around stupid people, win stupid prizes, everyone. But no, what did we do? The city of Orlando gave them a moving violation ticket and said, show up to traffic court after involved in a shooting like that. I couldn't believe it, bro. I mean, no one wanted to report on that. No one at West 6, nobody at Orlando Sentinel. No one could have taken 5 minutes like we did to go, wonder if these guys are all in prison right now. No, they're not. How? No wonder Orlando is so screwed up. No one bothered to report on that fact. No one said, hey, this is a little bit messed up that we have 3 people involved in a downtown shooting and all 3 of them are not sitting in prison right now. Yeah, because that's why things are working so well in Orlando. It's Anthony, it was just mind-numbing to me. Yeah. And for everybody you think, well, you know what? Like they're innocent until proven guilty. Okay, I got it. Cool. Be innocent until proven guilty sitting in prison. And then get your innocence and cool. But when you're involved in a downtown shooting, The way that we go ahead and we stop problems that are happening in downtown Orlando is when law and order prevails in this weak way of approaching people gets put to the side. And it's because everyone knows that Monique Worrell is probably the weakest prosecutor that we could possibly imagine. So I'm sure that the police officers sit there and go, why would I even try? Because nothing's going to ever stick. I mean, these guys out there in the uniform, I mean, they're just getting their legs cut out from underneath them by a district attorney that, would rather see everybody just go to rehab or something like that. I'm going to regress, all right, or digress, all right, back into what we were saying about flock cameras. So we have this shooting that happens in downtown Orlando. Cool. Understand that it's a bad thing. Now I want to look at what can we do in the future to help prevent this from happening. Because shouldn't that be what we're about here? Shouldn't we be looking for solutions to the problem? I believe we should. And so here's what Patrick Carr would do. You decide that you want to make me mayor of Orlando. I'll do what nobody else seems to be willing to do, which is solve the violence problem. And this is how I would start. So keep this in mind. This is flock cameras, okay? Downtown Orlando has 12 city-managed garages and lots. If you add in the private one, like Liberty, where this shooting was, there are 30 garages, Anthony, total in downtown Orlando. That's it. I mean, there's not like hundreds. We have 30 garages where people are parking. And yes, some of them are private. No problem at all. Those private garages are going to love what I'm about to do right now. Now, here's what I do. First thing I do is I go and I get approval for 30 garages, 2 cameras. That's 60 cameras, all right? Now, each one of those cameras cost about $3,000 per camera. That's going to be for the Falcon camera, good one, that we can put at the entrance and the exit of every single garage that is out there. You take that's 60 cameras, $3,000. That's about $180,000 per year. That's the number. Now, let's just say you want to just up that a little bit. Let's make it 3 cameras in every garage so that we make sure we capture everything from top to bottom. That in of itself is only $270,000 per year. It's about a $50,000 install. So what we're looking at here, about $180,000 to $270,000 per year for every single garage in downtown Orlando to have a flock camera on it. That is far less, about 1/3 of the salary of the Visit Orlando CEO, who's making $700,000 per year. So here's what I would say. Is that not public safety? Does that not help tourism that we're helping with public safety in downtown Orlando? Shouldn't Visit Orlando support cameras in garages so that we can finally keep our city safe and we can have tourists that actually want to go down there and we can stop closing all the restaurants and venues and make it a place that families want to go and people that come into our state actually want to visit? Shouldn't we want to do that? Yes, we should, but nobody wants to, because what we have is everyone gets stalled by the headlines and goes, ooh, flock cameras. And I understand what people are thinking, but think about this. I want you to picture it in your mind. All of these people are driving downtown into Orlando, and the problems are happening on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings. They're all parking. I shouldn't say all. A lot of them are parking in one of these 30 garages. They have firearms on them. Some of them have warrants that are outstanding. And am I saying that it's going to stop every problem in downtown? I'm not. But when you look at the investment of, say, $250,000 with install and everything, multiple cameras, let's just say $250,000. Okay. That to me far outweighs the negative that we have right now of any kind of Fourth Amendment violation that we perceive may be happening through these cameras. There has to be something that we do to fix the problem of violence in downtown Orlando and to be able to say, hey, we need to put people behind bars. And when I look at this, this is a viable solution that the Constitution already, should say this, that the states have already ruled is constitutional and can be implemented immediately for a low cost with a high ROI. So our return is that, hey, if we can get some felons off of the street, if we can make people think before they ever drive downtown that they're going to park in one of these garages and, oh, shoot, I know I'm going with you, man. Hey, listen, I've got a warrant out like for like a traffic I don't care what it is, a violation or something. I don't know if I want to go downtown, man, tonight. I don't want those people downtown, nor should anybody in their right mind. So what I'm saying here is that if we put these into place, I believe that the benefits far outweigh a perceived Fourth Amendment violation that someone like Justin and so many others like him believe is happening with these cameras. I am saying that we have to start somewhere, everyone. And in my opinion, this helps police officers who are far undermanned to be able to find these guns, find these felons, find these warrants that are out there, make sure that people that are going into these garages, at least from their license plate, are legally permitted to be there. It's not going to solve everything, but it will make a dent and it will help, Anthony. And in my opinion, that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and honestly, I agree. And in my opinion, I feel like there's a lot more positives that come out of it than negatives, which I understand a lot of people are saying an invasion of privacy and all that stuff. And I get it, but also I feel like there's a lot more positives that could come out from it, from solving cases, finding missing people, all this stuff. I feel like there's a lot more positives to that direction than.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, it's already working in other places, everybody. And I want to draw your attention to a place that you would assume has, well, a lot more people and a lot more violence they have to deal with in Miami Beach. If you've been to Miami Beach, everyone, you will see that there are police officers all over the place. They have a high visibility there. You'll see them at the intersections. They have their red and blue on. They're not flashing, but you can see police officers in a lot of places on Miami Beach. And would you be surprised to know this, okay? The Department of Miami Beach runs over 1,000 cameras, all right, with over 2,000 views of the city, plus a drone program, plus a license plate reader detail, all right? So they have actual detail that is assigned to this. Cameras that scan every plate entering the city and alert police in real time to wanted persons and stolen vehicles. They have recovered a ton of illegal drugs. They have recovered a ton of illegal guns, and the technologies help prevent countless crimes in Miami Beach in the last couple of years. This, to me, is how you use technology to help police officers do their job. And I want to give you a perspective of how this actually works in Miami Beach. If, let's just say, somebody is down there in Miami and they get their Range Rover stolen. Oftentimes this happens because I was actually talking to a police officer down there, and I didn't realize this, Anthony, but the new Rovers, like I guess if the keys are in it, it keeps the side mirrors open.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these thieves look for this.
Mm-hmm.
So they think that you've left your keys in there. They jump in and they steal your vehicle. What they are doing in Miami Beach is they're saying, no, you don't come over into a Miami Beach with a stolen vehicle. Because as soon as you come into there, they've got these cameras all over that are tagging that vehicle. And it's instantly notifying Miami police, and they're able to get that vehicle and they return it to the owner and probably be able to get a criminal off the street with a warrant. We know that that's probably not the first time that they've done that. So this is where we're using the intersection of technology and good police work to get bad people off of the streets. Now, I do understand people would say, well, listen, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't want my face out there in front of this. I don't want whatever I'm looking at on my phone to be seen by these cameras. I don't care if the camera itself is not meant to take that photo or take that video. It is absolutely doing it because I'm within the view of that camera. So if I'm walking with my phone like that, I have a right to privacy. There is surely an argument to be made there. And I think that eventually this is going to go to the Supreme Court, and they're going to have to decide whether that outweighs the benefits of these cameras and these license plate readers. But for now, what I look at is, I bet these people in Miami Beach who are doing this terrible stuff, finding them and getting them off of the street is a far greater thing and a far greater benefit to society than what I believe is the Fourth Amendment, the perceived Fourth Amendment violation that someone like Justin and so many others like that individual believe that we're having with these flock cameras and license plate readers. I get it. I'm hoping that for everybody out there that is against license plate readers, okay, like there are so many politicians that are, there are so many like them that are in our audience right now, and you hate the fact that flock cameras makes you want to just punch something, all right? I get it. If you can meet me in the middle to go, I can see where Patrick is coming from because he's saying that he thinks it's going to prevent crime and doesn't believe that the Fourth Amendment violations are happening at the same extent that I believe that they're happening, then I think we have what's called a compromise, which is a damn good place to start. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense, Anthony?
Yeah.
Because there's good case law already in place that this is constitutional. We've got that. We've already seen that it's working in other cities. It's already in Orlando right now. What my plan would do is put these cameras at the entrance and exit to every garage, 30 of them in downtown Orlando, to make sure that we keep these felons that have warrants out of our city and off of our streets. Let's make it happen. For $250,000, we make our city safer instantly. These are the types of solutions that fix Orlando, everybody. I'm not just about starting problems here. We need, as small business owners, as citizens, to begin to look at how technology can help solve our problems in a city and not just rule it off and say, I'm against it because Byron Donalds or Jay Collins or Fishback said that it's a bad thing. I am not that person. I don't care if Jolly or Donalds or anyone else says something. Look at it for yourself and decide. Do you believe that the Fourth Amendment is being violated? I do. Okay, if you said that, if somebody said that. Okay. Do you believe that that is more important than getting criminals off the street in this case with these cameras? I do. Okay, then you're against them. Cool. I get that person, man. We have to get back to a time when it comes to politics and discourse where we can go, you know what, I don't agree with you, but I understand where you're coming from. We've lost that. I'm not against, like, Justin's probably a great listener. Like the guy, probably. I like the fact that he's engaged, but we don't agree on something, and that's okay, right? And he's probably a lot more informed than what I am. And I'm probably bumbling, ignorant moron, like I normally am on this show. But what I can try to do is I can look at it at face value and I can say, do I believe this will make people safer? And if I answer is yes, and I believe that we're not having the violations to the extent that others believe that we're having them, then I'm going to go ahead and check the box and go, I believe in this, and I think we should institute it. And that's why it's my plan. If I was mayor, the first thing that I would look to do to make our streets safer is by looking at our garages where so much of this violence is happening, stopping criminals from coming down into Orlando with the 30 garages where they park, and give police the tools that they need to be successful for a minimal investment of only $250,000, which, by the way, is about a 1/3 of what Visit Orlando's CEO makes right now. Maybe she could take a slight pay cut and we could actually do something about the violence that we have in our city. Yep. Anthony, how many people out there disagree with me? Is Justin just eating me alive right now?
No, he, well, when you were talking about your rant, he was actually saying, he's actually said, thank you. And he's like, I think we both have the same intentions, bettering downtown. I think we both disagree on how to get there. But I think that was before you went through the whole explanation. But
that's a damn good approach. What is wrong? Why can't people be more like me and Justin? Okay. Yeah. This is how discourse should go, everybody. Me and Justin just gave you a freaking textbook right here on how two people should interact online. I said something. He's more of an expert than what I am. He gave an alternate opinion. I gave my opinion. We say, you know what? I think we're both going for the same thing. We both have good intentions. We just have a different way of getting there. Boom. Case closed. All right. Yeah. Wow. Isn't that crazy, Anthony, how things can work when people are mature?
Yeah.
Like, and come on, man.
We got two opposing ones that came in.
Talk to me.
So we got one guy from YouTube saying sacrificing freedom for security with a thumbs down.
I get his point. I understand.
And then we got Jay from Facebook saying cameras already record you when you walk into Walmart. LOL. How come people don't complain to Walmart, but do have an issue with the cameras to solve crime? So,
okay. I think that's all. These are very fair points. The first one from YouTube with the thumb down.
Yep.
I get it. You know, there are, like I said, there are people out there right now that you're looking at this and you are a strong Fourth Amendment advocate. Okay. You do not want to give the government more power than what they already have. I mean, we can all agree less government is the best government. I get that. I also recognize, and I hope that everyone can, that we live in Orlando and we've seen a violence impact our city in a way that has been tough. It's been tough on businesses. I've had to talk to a lot of these businesses that are closing. I know the people. They send me DMs. They're struggling. And it's because of that violence. And yes, you know what? I am a little swayed by that because I want to see these guys get back on their feet. I want to see a vibrant place where people want to go. I want to see where businesses are thriving. And I think that I guess, Anthony, I'm a little emotionally invested in making that happen. And so what I'm attempting to do is offer solutions that I think would move us in the right direction. And the Walmart example, I think, is an interesting one because this is one that we have a private business that an individual is, they say, not required to walk into. So if Target didn't have cameras and Walmart did, you'd have an option, right? But so by walking into that private business, you are saying to them, hey, I'm making a choice to be here, and therefore I'm giving up my right to privacy by choosing to walk into your business. You don't have to do that. The argument that somebody else, I think, would make is that you don't have that choice when it comes to driving on the road. So I have to have transportation. I have to get from one place to the other. It is a public road that is funded by the taxpayers, and therefore I have a rights that I shouldn't have to give up because I'm not walking into a private establishment and giving up those rights. And so I get that. Like, I get where people are coming from, that driving on the road, you should have a right to privacy that they feel is being impeded upon by these cameras. I am for less government on this one right here. But I'm looking at this and going, for the police, I'm looking at capturing a picture of every car that goes into a downtown garage and then running that against a database real quick and going, yep, that person has a warrant. I want that person off of the street more than I am worried right now about the perceived Fourth Amendment violation that a flock camera can cause. And I am swayed by that where I am. If I'm in a city right now that doesn't have the same problems that Orlando and Orange County has, then I might go in a different direction. And I'm not saying that I don't have my opinion is not being swayed. I am saying that I feel like we have a problem, and I think this is a viable solution, even if it was temporary. If we did like a 6-month deal on this thing to assess what we were able to achieve from it, then I think we've got something positive. And I think what you would find is that what would happen if you immediately made a big deal about this is that these criminals who drive downtown unimpeded right now or park in our garages right now would think twice before coming downtown. They would go, oh, shoot, there's cameras at the front entrances of in the exits of every garage. Just the thought of that alone, Anthony, I believe would deter some criminals from coming downtown and starting crap, starting fights, the things that are going on within our streets right now. Am I saying it's going to solve everything? I'm not, folks. But wouldn't it be nice if we could get a few of those criminals off of the street? I believe it'd be more than nice. I believe it's essential that we begin to clean up the city. And this is my step, Anthony, to give the police more tools than they need in order to make that happen. And I hope that if our audience disagrees with me, especially if they're big guys like Fishback and Collins and Donalds, and I know we've got a lot of great Republicans out there and conservatives, I understand where you're coming from. I hope you can see where I'm coming from on this one.
Yeah, it's honestly I'm just looking now. It's a big debate on both sides for people wanting it, people opposed to it.
Yeah, this is a good one, man.
Yeah.
And I get both, and I hope that everybody who's chatting about this, and if you're chatting about it with your friends, family, wherever you're at, you should be able to see the other side. The best debates are ones where both people can see the other side. That's what makes them fun. I say fun in a very loose way here, okay? But it's what makes them interesting. The nuance in of itself is what makes it debatable, everyone. Think about that. If it wasn't debatable, if there was no nuance to the situation, there'd be no debate that we're having right now. This is a good thing. This is the kind of discourse that citizens should be having with one another because this situation in this is nuanced. And what I hope I've done here today is I've tried to lay out for you a couple of different sides of this. And I hope we've done it in a way that is understandable, because I think when people hear about LPRs and flock cameras, they don't quite understand what they mean or what they could mean, like what they're not telling you. Like Justin told us in the beginning, I get it. Like maybe they're not telling us that side of things. But I want people to understand that there are uses for this that are currently in place. It is working in other areas of Florida right now. And whether you like it or not, it is already happening in Central Florida hundreds of times over again, which means it's happening thousands or millions of times every single month. They are reading these license plates. They're looking for things like missing persons. They're looking for things like warrants. They're looking for the people that are bad people that shouldn't be out there. The final thing I'll mention is this. This is a recent case right now, Anthony. I think it is worth mentioning because it just happened yesterday. This actually involves a license plate reader in Polk County, everybody. And Grady Judd, who we love on this show, actually commented on it. A license plate reader spotted a vehicle of Larry Ronaldo Riles, a 46-year-old who was wanted on a probation violation warrant for failing a drug test. This is exactly what we're talking about in real time. Deputies began searching this area near Wabash Avenue and George Jenkins Boulevard over in Polk County. Riles, who's a former Uber driver, was found in a dark blue Chevy Captiva, dark blue Chevy, parked in front of a Subway. Now, he backed into the parking space because he was trying to hide his license plate. But luckily, deputies had a description of the vehicle and were able to find him. Deputies boxed him in with their patrol vehicles. Now, after they did that, he ignored orders to get out of the car. He tried to drive forward into a deputy's vehicle. He rammed a patrol car. Deputies broke his window. They tried to taser this guy first and do everything they could to make sure this was not lethal. Riles then reached into the back seat, began racking around into a 9mm handgun, and then that had been reported stolen from a Lakeland vehicle on June the 24th. 3 deputies fired into the vehicle. Riles died at the scene. Okay, folks. Grady Judd came out and said this, quote, Larry Riles today asked to be shot and we obliged him. I love that from Grady Judd. Okay. Today he would be preparing to eat some lunch at a county jail if he had just given up. Grady Judd. This, in my opinion, is yet another example of good use of these LPRs and flock cameras. Think about it, everybody. This guy would still be on the street if it wasn't for this technology. A guy that was willing to ram into officers, a guy that was willing to kill someone in uniform, a guy that had a warrant, obviously was doing drugs. This is a guy that tried to evade the police, but luckily they not only had the license plate, they had a description of the vehicle that I couldn't even pronounce. And so when I look at this right now, I think this is exactly why we want this technology to be used if you're on my side. And you can't argue with that. You may believe that his Fourth Amendment was violated, but can we also look at the results that it generated? Because what if that wasn't a police officer in front of him? What if it was a woman that was walking and he just drove his car directly into that individual because he was high on drugs? Does that person deserve to lose their life because of what we feel might be a perceived Fourth Amendment violation? You must think about it from that perspective. And what are you going to tell that person's family? Because luckily right now in Polk County, they are instituting this type of technology, and this person is 6 feet under. Like Grady Judd said, they obliged him, and rightfully so. So, folks, we as a society, as a group, as listeners for my show, my job is just to communicate with you oftentimes the truth. And what I've attempted to do today is show you different sides of how these cameras can be used, and also try to meet in the middle with so many of you, because I understand the need, the want, and desire for less government. So I hope, Anthony, that we've had ourselves a good discussion here with our audience, and we've presented hopefully a couple different sides of this entire thing, bro.
Yeah.
Any other comments you want to mention, or we just we got some debate going back and forth?
A lot of debate going back and forth. The comment that I've been seeing a lot, which even I can answer to this one too, is one was saying cops already abuse this stalking their exes and driving down, which
good point.
I will say,
Good
yes,
point.
I get that, but at least from my point of view, it's like there's going to be those bad apples, but they should be fired immediately. They should be gone from the service. They should not have any access to that, because there's always going to be those bad cops out there. But I think majority of the time they're good cops and it's just trying to solve crime and make everything safe. So I think, in my opinion, that yes, there's going to be those bad people using a flock, but I think the good outweighs the bad. And
okay, so great point, because we've seen this before, right?
Yep.
We had that case, I believe it was over in Winter Springs, where the officer used a tracking device. He put it on the bottom of a woman's car. Remember we covered that story a few months back?
Yeah.
And I think to myself, like, there are people out there who believe officers will do things like that, and they have. You can't just say, well, they'll never do that. Yeah, they will. You give people power, they'll abuse it. They're people. So, okay, let's dive into that, because we got to end the show here momentarily. But Anthony, the way I look at that is, how then, the way that you prevent that from happening, or you minimize the opportunity that it happens, is you put in things like federal minimums for people that abuse this technology who are police officers. So, okay, let's just make Patrick Carr mayor here for a second. And that person, I'm at a city council meeting and someone brings that up. That's a fair point. I would look at that, and I would look at my district attorney and say, listen, anybody who uses this, we're giving them a minimum in the city of Orlando. And this is going to be your minimum charge. Any officer out there that does it, I'm making a promise to the public. I don't have to put in some kind of law. I'm telling my district attorney at that point, you and I agree. I'm looking at everybody in the eye, and I'm having my district attorney look at me in front of people in the public, and I'm going to go 10 years minimum. And they're going to go, yep, I agree. And then you're going to know as a public that every single person who decides that they're going to violate this, your privacy, who is a law enforcement officer, is getting a minimum of 10 years. Now, what have we done? We have something that this city needs desperately: accountability, everybody. Now, what was so hard about that? We just had an Anthony, and I'm not saying we just found a solution, because I'm sure that people out there are thinking, yeah, okay, well, there's still an opportunity that they do it. But how many of you out there, if you did feel that way, would feel better knowing, if you lived in a city where, if that officer or individual who was sworn to the law abused that power, that they were going to get a minimum of 10 years in prison? Do you think that would prevent most of them from making that decision? I think it would. And wouldn't you feel better as citizens knowing that that was what kind of government you had? People that were going to hold other individuals accountable and say, you're not going to invade the rights and the privacy of our citizens. And I don't need a law. I need to sit in front of somebody and go, do you agree? Yeah, you promise the people you're going to do that? I do. Great. I do too. I promise you as well. And you say it publicly, and then you become a person of your word. Heaven forbid we actually have a government that people do what they say they're going to do. Whatever happened to that, folks? Why can't we just have that? Why can't we just have a city council meeting where two people look at one another, like they just brought up a really good point right there, our audience, and I go, you're right. That's a concern. Now let's do something about that concern that actually is meaningful and moves the needle. Problem solved. We don't need to go to a vote. We just solved the problem. These are real-time solutions to problems that we have in the city that, again, I'm not saying that our audience is necessarily going to agree with, Anthony. There's still people who say, well, yeah, Patrick, but they're still going to abuse it. But wouldn't we feel like that's a step in the right direction if we did that? I think most people would say, heck yeah. And if we can do that and we can find a compromise this quick on this stuff, even if we don't necessarily all agree, don't we agree that, man, if we can make this kind of progress in 1 hour, think about how inept our government is in Central Florida that we can't make any of this progress. And we're doing this all online. I mean, I'm doing it with Justin, who's much better at this than what I am. I'm not being like, guys, definitely more informed and looking at the comments than what I am. But at least we can listen to one another. We can all find solutions through each other's past experiences. And then we can meet in the middle and find this thing called compromise to help make our city better. I don't know, Anthony. I feel like that's how I try to run things in my business. And I think that most people who own a small business, work for a small business, run a family, I think that's how most citizens, that's how they feel. And I hope we were able to shine some light on some things here with Flock cameras today, brother.
Yeah, I love that. Because honestly, you need accountability on both sides. You can't just be like, oh, we're going to, in case you have a warrant out for your arrest and all that stuff with the flock cameras. But also, if you abuse the flock cameras, you got to have accountability to both. And
we believe in that here. Accountability is all we ask for on this show every single day. Folks, I hope we have laid it out for you. I've enjoyed this time, man. I enjoyed this one today. I told you before we started, I really liked this topic because it's such a hot topic that is being talked about, and it will be talked about as we move into the governor's race, right? The general right here. And I know that, everybody tends to be talking about that like they do data centers. So I hope from my audience, I hope you got some information out of this, and look forward to speaking to you all tomorrow. Anthony, we got anything else? No, we're going to be tonight.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry, tonight, not tomorrow. Folks, we're 7 hours away from the Orange County mayoral debate. And me and Anthony and I are going to be staying late at the office to be able to bring you that. I hope that you'll tune back in, hear my commentary. We're going to be talking about that. Again, that launches tonight at 8 o'clock. We look forward to bringing it to you. Thanks for making us a part of the middle of your day. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. From Anthony and myself, we will see you later tonight. Have a great one, everyone.